Okay, welcome back, hopefully for the final time here tonight in APPF1 Tier 2 Round 8 at Austria. It has been an incredible race that unfortunately we've not been able to give the best coverage because of various technical issues on both sides, but we still continue in this Grand Prix with Runes leading the way, extending a long way on those hard tyres. Does make you wonder, is he going to go the distance? It seems almost implausible. The hard tyres not as durable as they used to be around this track, so you suspect that he's going to have plenty of difficulty. Actually does peel into the pits immediately. Maybe he was extending for mediums, but the Mercedes driver comes in from the lead, and that leaves Scott, who after the way the race is unfolded in the middle phases, Scott has taken full command of the race. Ace is chasing him down with a time penalty, or actually with 2 penalties to his name now. Scott all clean at the front and looks well on his way, comfortably controlling the race then as we head on to the lap 25.
Yeah, what a reintroduction to the grid this is from Scott, if he can see this through. Aces, Silbo, Jamie Dodger, all with penalties. Rubialski just behind, looking at a P2 finish right now. Lawrence, I'll tell you what, looking at a podium, the way things stand. He's still got a lot of work to do, of course. We saw him make a mistake earlier on. 10-second penalty for Jamie Dodger for corner cutting. I think he's either overcooked turn 3 or there's been some contact, but I'm sure he'll get that removed, but it still cost him time and positions. He's down to P5. Rubialski gets his way onto the podium, on track and not just on penalties. A great move on Silbo Bags for P3, and now he'll be charging after Aces on those fresh medium tyres. Jackalacco 3.5 down. Oh, how it's all gone wrong for Jackalacco today. It was looking so good for the Scottish driver, but no longer, and he is going to be under heavy pressure on those medium tyres late into the stint towards the end of this race. Enchilada now in P9, could be P8 if he catches up to Jacko, could be even more if there's more penalties ahead, so he's recovered well. Triku's still yet to stop. Well, if there's anyone on this grid who can take these tyres to the end, it's going to be Triku Budayek, but I don't know if it's well advised or not. Silbo Bags makes a move on Rubialski further up, but yeah, Triku Budayek, he's got Tia, JB and Drogon all behind him, hungry for position, I'm sure. Here comes Tia already, as if to make a point, down the inside of turn 3, and that is the move done. Rubialski and Silbo once again side by side further up as well, as Robsu picks up another time penalty further back. Rubialski back into 3rd place again. These two swapping positions a few times now.
Yes, indeed, but they're not getting much closer to Aces up in front, further back. Triku defending from JB now. Well, ill-advised or not, it's maybe his only chance of getting a result is stretching these tyres all the way, but with JB, Drogon all over him, a number of drivers chasing down from behind. Sumo and Robsu are battling it out in the middle of turn 4. Robsu right round the outside, managing to hold on to that 15th position. Of course, there may still be plenty of points on offer for those guys if the race unfolds in different ways. Another swap between Silbo Bags and Rubialski. This is extraordinary stuff, but it's not doing them much good. Rubialski's managed to pick up end plate damage somewhere, so he's severely compromised despite having fantastic tyres. He may have had the pace, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to pull it off from here. So he and Silbo swapping places, but not very efficiently. They're falling away from the top 2, and Aces, despite the penalties, may still be on for a very good result here, maybe even a podium as it stands. Rubialski and Silbo swapping again, but they're swapping simply too often to be very quick at all, and they're dropping away from the top 2. So, well, Scott seemingly very much in control of the race. It's all kicking off behind because Lawrence, Runes, they're all getting up towards this scrap. So this kind of hobbled Rubialski, I think, is causing a lot of issues, and it's bringing many more drivers into play in these closing stages.
It certainly is. It is all to play for. Runes is right behind Lawrence as well, looking for a move maybe into turn 9. Backs out of that one. But all these penalties further ahead. These two are both going to be sniffing a podium at this stage. There's still 9 laps to go in this race. A long way to go as Runes now looks for an opportunity down the inside of turn 1. It was a poor exit from Lawrence, and Runes takes advantage. The Tier 3 championship leader up to 6th place in this race. It is P4. Or actually, I think it's P3 even. After penalties, Silbo once again past Rubialski, but again, they're not gaining anything. They're losing time to Aces versus Kings, and that could be oh so crucial, especially for Silbo and Jammy, who have penalties of their own. As Jamie looks to the inside, backs out of that one on Rubialski. But as I look at the penalties, Jamie, he has 13 seconds, but that is really 3 seconds, I think. He'll probably get that 10 removed. But yeah, 3 seconds to Rubialski still is going to hurt him. Drogon now side by side with JB into turn 4, gets that move done into 11th place, does the pole sitter. And well, how often do you say that one? That particular sentence. Tricky Bidayak losing plenty of time. He's already 2 seconds down on that train that he was leading a few laps ago. So I think Triku desperately praying for a safety car at this stage. And we've got Jakalaka round again at the same corner as before. And Ench goes straight through to P8.
So Enge picking up a good haul of points now in this race, it must be said, after the disastrous start. I think that the strategy call coming in a little bit earlier has managed to pay off very nicely for him, especially as other drivers have made mistakes. So Enge looking good at the moment. Up at the front, Scott, he was coming under a bit of pressure from Aces at first, but now with these medium tyres potentially starting to fall off, Scott is opening up and he looks completely unchallenged up at the front of this race. Just 7 clean laps needed, and it looks like the Williams driver is headed for a stunning win on a return to racing here in Tier 2. He's been absolutely flying all the way throughout tonight. Further back, Drogon and Tier battling it out up towards turn number 6. The Aston Martin tries to get up and alongside, can't quite manage it though, and Drogon managing to fend off, getting himself into P10, fighting away with these two Aston Martins. Tier has had much bit worse fortunes in the dry than he did in the wet, where he was absolutely flying. How often have we said that? But Scott, 2.6 seconds clear, lap 30 now. This podium could go any which way, but at the moment, Scott in complete control. It really has been an unusually dominant drive for an Austrian Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, he's come under heavy pressure from Aces, especially in that first dry stint. Aces looked easily the fastest driver in that train, but not anymore. Scott is flying and Aces on those medium tyres. I think that's the wrong choice. He could possibly have gotten past Scott if he'd gone for the hard tyres. It wouldn't have won him the race with his penalties, but it would have surely bagged him a podium, especially with the pace that he's seemingly got. But now these mediums starting to fall away. Silbo Bags is now right behind him once again, 1.1 seconds. Rubialski is going to be starting to struggle before long as well, and Runes and Lawrence will be smelling blood. Robsu goes round. That's a safety car! Safety car! And oh, it's happened again! Scott's gone past the pit lane. Oh no, he's got to get past the safety car. Safety car's come down the pit lane. Scott recognises the danger. He speeds up down to turn 1. He does get out ahead of the safety car, crucially. And phew, I thought that was going to be another episode of last week. But we do have a safety car right at the end of this race, practically. It was from Robsu spinning and losing his front wing out of turn 3. And, well, I mean, we already had a drama-packed race that was completely unpredictable. Predict this.
Impossible, I say. Here we are then. So we're gonna, the safety car is going to pick them up on lap 32. We may just have potentially a 3-lap shootout. Mix of tyre choices going on with soft tyres in use for the likes of Tier, Triku, Womack, Sumo, very interesting. Let's see. Up at the front, well, Scott, we know he's been forced to extend. Everyone driving to the Delta. Scott should be fine. Selbo and Jamie Dodger electing to stay out. Jamie Dodger, of course, well, we'll see in the stewards about that 10-second penalty that he picked up, but maybe it is just a bit of a gamble for these guys. Of course, they have the option to come in as well, which Scott is, of course, going to do. So Scott from the lead, he'll probably lose out a little bit because as they come over the line, they are going to be able to drive at full speed. So Scott is going to lose maybe a few seconds as a result. We'll see if he's still able to come out in front of Aces versus Kings. Selbo and Jamie Dodger do decide to stay in, to come in rather. So they are going to elect for the pit lane, as of course, well, pretty much every driver is going to need to have fresh tyres put on. But let's keep an eye out here as Scott re-emerges from the pit lane and Aces steps on it. So let's see. It looks as though Scott is going to be very, very comfortable though up at the front. Not going to lose out very much at all. Scott then still in clean air. His lead wiped out as Rubialski just manages to get out in front of Selbo Bags. Still hasn't repaired that front wing, so he's going to have a tough last couple of laps. The safety car now picks them up. Scott survives that scare by getting beyond the safety car and avoiding the same fate as Rubialski. He's got fresh tyres up at the front. He's got a car behind him with 6 seconds of penalties. It's still comfortable, just not a done deal as it looked a couple of minutes ago.
I'm surprised that Rubialski hasn't changed that wing. I mean, if there was any time to do it, it was going to be under a safety car. He would have lost a couple of positions, but because of the penalties, he's still on for a solid podium result here. But of course, it's Austria with a few laps shootout at the end. Literally anything could happen. I mean, Ench could still win this race, honestly. The amount of carnage I've seen in the last few laps of a late safety car in Austria in the past in league racing. This is completely still up for grabs, but Scott is in a commanding position, like you said. Fresh medium tyres, and with aces behind him, 6 seconds of penalties. Rubialski with a broken front wing. Silbo with penalty further behind as well in 4th. Runes is his main rival, really, and he's down in 5th. So I think as long as Scott keeps this clean, he should go on to win this race from here. But wow, I mean, I don't know. You can't really say that, but I think he's in the position now, really, where he'd be absolutely furious with himself if he doesn't win this race.
Indeed, it is his race in hand as it stands. Rubialski with that damage, of course. I do actually agree with his decision not to change it, because in that train he was able to stay up there regardless of the damage, so maybe he didn't want to give up that track position. So he's going to stay there with a bit less fighting potential, but still with great track possession. And the man behind him, Silver Bags, also does have a penalty to his name. He drives up alongside Aces down the run towards turn 4, and they briefly swap positions. Rubialski peeling out. Does tuck back in the end. Again, we should try and avoid any sort of drama. He nearly hits him there. So Rubialski getting very sketchy with Aces, and I'm not quite sure why. Not sure if we're going to get back to green flag racing on this lap. Cavalis and Robs are just working their way back up. It can stay out for just one more lap, but we'll see. There's the sector line, and it does seem as though it hasn't made the call just yet. Cavalis now joining the back of the pack. Robsu coming along as well. It's going to be a very late call if it is, but it's coming towards that pit entry now. It needs to be now, and it looks as though we're going to be held off for a little bit longer. We are going to have to wait a lap longer as Robsu just getting there now, maybe a couple of seconds too late, and it's going to be, in the end, a 2-lap shootout to the checkered flag as opposed to 3.
Well, I mean, let's have a quick update on our title contenders then while we go for one more lap, because Ench is in P10, but all 3 drivers ahead of him have penalties. Jamie Dodger, by the way, had to serve his 10 seconds in the pits, so it doesn't matter whether he gets it removed or not. Triku and Rumax again, guys, stop swapping positions, please. It makes so many problems. But Triku in 12th as well, with all the penalties ahead of him. Ench is in a net P7, could be even higher than that with Silbo and Aces. Triku's in a net P8 at least. So after all that, Ench and Triku still might get decent hauls of points here. Both of them, but Denko, he's in a much more precarious position. He's down in 17th, still outside of the top 15 and points. So he's got to do some work. He needs some luck to keep himself within a decent margin of the championship lead. I think he probably will regardless, but he doesn't want to lose. He doesn't want to go scoreless in a race. That would be a disaster either way, regardless of whether Ench and Triku get much at all out of this. But it's still going to be very close championship regardless, especially the constructors as well. Both Saubers down in 12th and 18th, with the Hasses in 2nd and the net P7. It is all to play for both championships, as here we go. Safety car is in this lap. Scott leading the way.
And he's gone very, very early, and he's caught Aces off guard. Beautifully done from Scott. He's not going to catch the safety car either. He is underway, and he's got 7/10 for free ahead of the Haas driver. Very good, crafty driving from Scott, and he's up and away. We know the speed that Aces has, with all things being equal. His tyres are essentially equal to the man in front of him. He can stay with him, but how much is 6 seconds of penalties going to cost the Haas driver? We are underway on lap 35, and it's Scott leading the way from from Aces. Aces burning a lot of that battery. He still needs as much as he can out on the track, and he's hunting down the Williams. No DRS just yet. We will have it on the final lap. Are there any movers and shakers, though? It seems to be mostly single file. Further down the field, maybe JB on Womax. They're very close. Sumo nearly runs into the back of the Aston Martin, but it's relatively calm. Scott going very early was a beautiful move, and it's strung out the field to some extent. He runs deep into turn 4, though, and that's going to put him under much more pressure than he needs to be. Scott having to fend off. Rubialski is right there. If he manages to take advantage, it may still be his race. Scott leading the way. The Aces runs wide in 6. Up alongside him is Rubialski, desperate to find a way through. Goes tight on the inside. There's contact. They bag wheels. Somehow they still survive. Rubialski with half a nose ahead. Looks as though he's going to get through. Aces cannot hold that on the inside of turn 9. And Rubialski is through somehow after a feisty battle. But that's given Scott the window he may need to streak away here. Silva could get some what could be a crucial penalty. Rubialski is through, but can he possibly get back to Scott in this final lap?
I don't think Aces is going to be happy with that overtake at all. That might well end up in the stewards later on as well. But Rubialski is surely too far behind here. 9/10. Scott burning ERS down to turn 3. You can tell Rubialski's got barely anything left in the battery. Brakes very late for turn 3. Gets it stopped. Can he get the exit down to 4? He can. 4.5 tenths. He's not got a lot left in the battery, but neither has Scott. Can Rubialski take the race win away? He goes for the inside, but he's too far away. Scott a little wide into turn 4, but it's not enough for Rubialski to make a move. Silverbags right behind Aces. Everyone just having to fall in line here. No one really able to make any sort of progress up the field on this final lap. And Scott just a couple of corners between him and a fantastic race victory. JB getting past Womax further back. Rubialski, can he do anything in these last couple of corners? I don't think so. Scott around turn 10 to win a fantastic Austrian Grand Prix. Rubialski comes home in P2. Ace is third on track, but it's going to be down in 8th in the end. Runes takes a podium in tier 2. Lawrence just a 10th away from it. He'll be gutted with that. Then it's Enchilada Dad somehow getting P5 and Triku in 7th as well. Oh my goodness me. How have the title contenders gone to 5th and 7th? Well, that's probably why they are where they are in this championship. Not giving up despite it all looking lost in the first half of this race. And they somehow come home 5th and 7th. I didn't catch where Denko finished, but I don't think he made much progress. So it won't be many points for him. So we'll have to have an update on the championship later on. But goodness me, Daka.
Yeah, what a race, what a finale, and what a drive it was from Scott. Rubialski in P2 from Runes, then Lawrence. Eng P5. Amazingly, Eng and Triku have collectively got far better results than he did in Vegas when they were both fighting for the win. It's absolutely incredible. Jamie Dodger in P6. What could have been without having to serve that penalty? Triku somehow in P7. Aces will be gutted with 8th. He had the pace for much more than that. Arguably the fastest driver on track today, Silbo, in P9 will be equally gutted. He got a late penalty too. Womax in 10th, just ahead of Sumo. Next comes Avenir. Denko in 13th, so that'll be 3 points to add to his haul, but a big blow in the championship, it must be said, with the results of Eng and Triku. Jackalako 14th and Drogon running out the points finishers. After that comes JB, Cavalis, Tier and Robsu. That is your field here at the Austrian Grand Prix. Masterclass drive from Scott. We should be able to get, I believe, just him in for an interview. Don't think we'll be able to get Rubialski and Runes because of platform issues, but yeah, thoroughly entertaining race. Shame that we've both had issues in terms of streaming it, but certainly a great spectacle out there. And yeah, I think we'll just we'll get Scott in and we can hear his thoughts hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just head over to the tier 2 party now. There we go. Here we are, Daka's in. Yeah, it's I mean, what a race it was. We will hopefully get an interview with Scott. I'll just ping him in the Discord now. But it might not even be over because Lawrence has said in the Discord that apparently he thinks there's a good few penalties coming for pit lane infringements on the safety car, which is eerily similar to last week. I mean, that aside, what a race it was, and what an incredible last few laps. But Scott, our race winner, what a comeback back into Tier 2 from you, Scott. Fantastic to see you winning that race, and in such controlled fashion as well, with that amazing safety car restart. Talk us through the race.
Oh, well, I don't know. That went on my bingo card anyway. No, we're alright. I've not played on game for a while. Played on Friday and then did a bit of TT and felt alright. I've got to shout out to Carlos Galindo as well, because he gave me the setup, so I felt pretty solid during the race. But no, I got Drogon off the start, and I don't know, I think we went in side by side into turn 1. I don't know what we said about that. And then just managed DRS and Fireware throughout. Aces had a bit of a go. I was kind of hoping he'd catch in a way. It's my old pal is Aces and I like a good old ding dong with him. But he did catch and I pulled away again, and then I was debating whether to go hard or medium on the final stint. I went hard and then noticed he undercut and gearbox again. But if I can just hold him off for a few laps and hopefully the Fireware will kind of take over. And it did, pulled away, and I thought, well, race is in the bag, that's it, GG. And then I don't know what happened, but that safety car came out.
Yeah.
A bit anxious. I genuinely thought that race had never ended. I was sweating at the front, and I thought, oh god, what was it, lap 30? And I looked up and it was lap 14. Oh my god, I'm going to be here all night. But no, I enjoyed that, it was good. Good fun.
Yeah, no, fantastic race from our POV as well. I mean, obviously you've been away from Tier 2 for a while, hopping in the odd race here and there. I mean, I'm sure you, like you said, you didn't expect to be up at the front today, never mind winning the race. But does this maybe spark a little light in you to have a go for season 19?
It does, to be honest, Ghost.
Hey.
I got a new job role at work, so it's more 5 o'clock finishes now, so I'm no rushing back to. I'm getting stressed on M65 on my own. So yeah, my evenings are a bit more free now. I think I'll see.
Wow.
This is always my go-to league. It's my first league, and it's my go-to league. And I know I've had some frustrating races a couple of seasons ago. I always get drawn back here.
Well, Monaco might draw you in next season as well.
Absolutely not. It's more of a good time. If you think I've done alright this week, then you watch me at Monaco and I'll crumble like a hobnob. It's horrendous.
Oh dear, brilliant. Well, great to see you on the top step of the podium, Scott, and congrats. Daka, do you have any questions for our race winner today?
Yeah, just oh, you did mention the change of things with work. We've got just a couple more races left in the season. Are we going to be seeing you turning up there as well, or is it just going to be back to it next season? How do you see things going in the next few weeks, maybe?
No, if I'm free, I'll race. Like I said, I've got a lot of. It's the job role itself. It can be a bit sporadic sometimes. We finish it, but on paper, I finish at 5 o'clock. I won't go into too much detail about my job role, but I am expected to finish a bit late sometimes, but 9 times out of 10 now I'll be finishing at 5, so Tuesdays are back on for me. So.
Well, looking forward to seeing much more of you going forward, and clearly you're in great form right now. So hopefully hope to see you much more on the grid from here. But thanks very much for all your kind words, and yeah, well, since after all the issues we've had tonight, I'm actually the one streaming. I'm going to come to you, Ghost. Ghost, who would be your driver of the day for the Austrian Grand Prix?
Oh, very nice. Well played. I mean, to be honest, it always feels odd giving it to a reserve, but it's got to be Scott who's the best driver on the grid today. Not just in terms of pace. It's like we said, he wasn't the fastest driver on the grid today, because I think that was Ace's, but
Yeah.
he was the best for sure. And that's why he took home the race win. So it's got to go to Scott for me.
Thank you very much. Humbled.
Well, yeah, I also think that's pretty much a slam dunk decision. There's pretty much no doubt about that. Although I'd certainly give a good mention to Ensch and Frigo for the comeback drives from seemingly hopeless positions and bolstering their championship campaigns. But we'll see how that's going to calculate in the standings. We also, I did actually pick up on it at the time. I neglected to mention it. There were certainly some potential incidents on that pit entry when the safety car came out. So this, much like it was in Vegas, may look very different to the final result. So we'll see how things are going to unfold. But I think that is pretty much round 8 in the books. And just ahead of us in the season, we have Suzuka, and then we have Mexico City left in the season. It feels like it's flown by, but yeah, this is going to be a fascinating end, and hopefully a nail-biter in the standings at 2 very different tracks. So, Ghost, how can you potentially see it unfolding?
Am I out of it?
Sorry, Scott.
Am I out of it?
You might be. You might just be.
I don't know. If everyone gets disqualified from the championship, you might have a shot.
Good off Vegas.
No. Get a bunch of Michael Schumachers. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, two great tracks to finish off this season. Japan next week is going to be fantastic, always is. And then Mexico, I think we're going to get some spicy runs to turn 1, I would imagine, hopefully from the title contenders. But I don't want to jinx it too much. I do think it is going to stay close. It's really all about Ensch and Denko, I think, just because of we know what Triku's situation is. I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll pull a miracle and turn up, or he'll pull an LB and turn up to the race. But I mean, going into this race, Denko was 1 point behind. Ensch, was he 5th in the end?
Yes.
And I think could be more after the pit lane penalties from what I've seen already. And Denko was 13th. So that'll be 11 points to Ensch and 3 points to Denko. So potentially 9-point gap, potentially a little bit more after penalties. But it's going to be still within about 10 or so points. And we've seen already today how things can go completely wild at the drop of a hat in this tier. So you never know. I do think it's still anyone's game for this title. And the Constructors is wide open as well. After a good result for Haas. It's a shame about Ace's penalties, but still a decent result for Haas in the end. And Sauber, a lackluster one. So yeah, it's going to be great. I hope it stays as close as it is, and it delivers on the promise that we've been giving it all season.
I do think, looking at it, you do probably have to make Ensch the odds-on favourite for the title at this point, but it's still very much up in the air. We'll see how things may unfold, and be sure not to look away when we head to Suzuka next week. It feels almost weird to be outroing this stream after the season we've had, but yeah, as always, thanks so much for watching, and thanks so much for putting up with all the technical issues that both myself and Ghost have had tonight. But yeah, hopefully next week is going to be a lot smoother, and hopefully it does deliver yet another epic race like it did tonight. So from myself and Ghost, it is goodbye for now, and until next time, we'll see you later.